Hello there, and welcome to Women's Business.
My name is Dr. Marianne Shallcross Smith, known to most as Dr. Daycare, and this is my co-host, Amy Vogel. We'd like to welcome you to our mentoring program designed to educate our community on issues facing working women. We will be speaking to our guests in the areas art, sciences, health, education, law, medicine, politics, community service, military, and business.
The goal of the show is to provide information that comes only from personal experience and to pass this information down to our daughters, nieces, neighbors, family, and friends. Much of the content will relate to the guest speaker's journey in their profession, what they have learned most about this process, and what they wished they had known before this journey began. Since women-owned businesses are the fastest growing sector of our economy, my guests will close with what lesson they would like to pass on to the viewing audience. Good morning. I'd like to begin today's quote with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Women will have achieved true equality when men share with the responsibility of bringing up the next generation.
Thank you, Amy. And thank you for joining us, A Woman's Business. We are very honored to welcome Cindy Lepore, and she is joining us from Marsh McLennan Agency. Yes. Cindy, how are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm great.
Good.
How are you doing?
Very well. I know I was a couple of months ago, got to meet you through the Chamber of Commerce, and we had a great conversation one morning.
Yes,
and so I'm so happy you're on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about your journey as a woman in business.
It started off very young. I was, 17 years old.
That is young.
I actually had, graduated high school early. Now they hold you back a little bit.
Yes.
And I decided the biggest thing that I wanted to do was actually be on my own. So I felt I was, that independent person. Just wanted to get working, wanted to start school. So I started the community college that fall. And I was also offered a job with my godfather at his family business.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so it was a lot at once. I got into the working force. I had jobs like all through high school and junior high school, started off with babysitting. So at very young, I was always, making money and doing things for myself. And I knew that, being on my own was critical, and obviously getting myself to the next step was even more critical to my future. So I started off there, and then it didn't really work out working full-time and trying to carry classes. So I ended up getting into the service industry, so waitressing and bartending. Which was, very lucrative to be able to have that.
She loved it. She loved it when she did it.
So right?
During grad school, I'm like, this is amazing. Working out with cash in your pocket. I was like, wow.
Exactly. And never had any nights to myself, though. That was the one thing
Weekends
I did miss
out.
Yeah. I did miss out on those times. So I just continued to work. And probably in about the mid-90s, I got a job at a law firm. So as now it would be an administrative assistant, but I was really just a receptionist. Mm-hmm. So I got to work with a couple of attorneys and, answering the phones, filing, typing up some, paperwork for them. And I was actually, just walking in on the building. I ended up networking with this woman, just talking to her all the time. And she said, hey, she's like, are you happy? I'm like, no, it's okay. I felt like I was the low person on the totem pole. Yeah. And, I didn't really want to be, a legal assistant at the time. That's not something that, I thought I wanted to do. So she did an introduction to this telecom company. Oh, wow. So at the time they were doing like long distance services, reselling, I'm going to date myself, frame relay circuits.
You're still very young.
Yeah. So there was these two owners and they were great. So they came on, same thing, answered the phone, started handling things. And then started talking with them, so I started to handle more things. So like, I don't know if you remember this, but when you used to get slammed for your long distance carrier,
Yes.
Oh yeah,
and
God.
it would be thousands of
Our
dollars.
kids
on
were
your
teenagers
business.
at that time. Yeah.
So it was happening at your home. It was happening even, more, tens of thousands of dollars on business lines. So I would call up, I'd negotiate with them, like get those charges reversed. So I was starting to learn, learn
Negotiation
how this.
skills.
Yeah.
Really?
That's great.
Yes. And then the best was when a circuit would get cut and no one would have long distance.
Oh.
So all of a sudden, there was 4 lines. All of them would light up at once.
So wait, a circuit, so they couldn't dial out?
Right, they couldn't dial long distance.
Oh, wow.
So and then if they had a
I
toll-free
didn't know that was
number,
an issue.
they couldn't get any incoming calls from their toll-free number. So if these are businesses that relied heavily upon that service,
Wow.
you're not getting. So let's just say I learned customer service.
Yeah.
Sure did.
So screaming and yelling at
Oh,
me,
yes.
obviously not my fault, right?
No.
But they take their anger out whoever answers the phone.
Oh goodness. So I worked there for it was over a couple of years. They decided to sell the business and then kept evolving. So went into working for a CLEC, competitive local exchange carrier. So spent a few years there. I'm just jumping a little ahead, so I don't.
Following you. It's a good story.
Yeah, and then got into. Ended up getting into the wireless business from there, but what happened was I was recruited for the first time. Actually recruited by a recruiter. Got a call from this woman, said, I got your name from someone. So it was, I had been there 3 years. I really liked it, but this was an opportunity to go manage a sales team for a major wireless carrier, which is T-Mobile. I worked for T-Mobile, yes. So I took the opportunity and started to commute from Cranston to Newton.
Whoa.
So
That's an hour at least.
yeah, and for us, Rhode Islanders,
That's
right?
like a day.
We don't have that mind.
Yeah, I'm like,
set.
oh gosh. More than 20 minutes, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I can't commit.
Right. It was a tough one because I had to get there before my sales team. So, I could be leaving at the crack of dawn
Sure
if
you
there was
could,
going to
absolutely.
be any snow on the ground, if it was going to pouring rain, and obviously getting home at night. So I was working 12 to 14-hour days without even getting in the car.
Yes.
Because I knew not to leave Newton before 7:30 p.m.
No, yeah.
Right, because I wasn't getting home till
That's a very long day.
yeah, so it was long. Great experience. I got to go through a lot of, they did a lot of consolidation. I was promoted into my own office to manage another team, had to dissolve that team. So, that was difficult because I had to release employees for the first time and, being very young in my career and, having to sit down with people that were my parents' age and, let them know that,
Today's your last day.
yeah, it was very, very difficult.
So how'd you get the courage to do that?
Very deep. A lot of coaching. I
Okay.
did have a mentor. She was our
Super.
district,
Yeah, absolutely.
divisional, and she was amazing. And it was, getting over that hump to be able to talk to her and just
Yeah.
saying, okay. And they said, you have to put your feelings aside.
Yeah.
This is work. And I find that difficult
It is.
because,
It is.
I feel like I'm very passionate about everything I do. And, you always want to do the right things, right?
Absolutely. It was great though. You got a mentor. You got some coaching.
Yes.
And you got through it. You got over
Yes.
that hump, and you were able to do that.
And
That's big in business.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
For a business owner, that is very big to get an employee, a team member to be at that level.
Yeah.
So good for you. Wow.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's part of business.
It is.
It's part of
Unfortunately.
That's like
Yes.
it's the worst part. I think about being a leader is that type of bad news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is for sure. And then I continued on in my career. From T-Mobile, and then so I was in wireless, and then in a different aspect, so working for a construction and modification industry, and that was getting to know one of my clients, who it was a male. He happened to be a change COO. So I actually got to work for some great opportunities with him, going into companies that I knew could be in some kind of either financial, organizational trouble. Right. But with my background and what I had learned in the industry so far, I thought that, it would be a great opportunity. And I took it on. Did not get the outcome that we expected. It went into a different direction at the last minute. However, in 1 year, I learned a lot of do's and don'ts in business. A lot of different personalities, negotiations with going to sell a business, what you do to, prep, how you diversify, a certain segment of an industry to bring that into, other industries for synergy to do business. So it was quite the ride. And then it continued on, but once I decided I wanted to, through another client of mine, ended up taking an opportunity with Atreon, which is now Carousel Industries, and worked for them for a few years, networked with a lot of folks, got into the IT infrastructure. So that was a great company. Built on your leadership skills, always involved you no matter what position you were in the organization. And I did a lot of networking, and that networking paid out to where I am today.
That's huge.
It's amazing how your life just changes through networking, absolutely.
It does. And
so when you talk, I feel it. Where do you get the drive from? Where does that drive from? Because you got it, lady.
I know. I don't know. I think it's
17 years old, own your own, got a job, worked your way through all these things, and you smile through the whole process.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
And it's not always been. It's not
I
easy.
get that.
Yeah.
But you make it.
Yeah,
Whoever coached you or mentored you did a very good job.
I think
or doing a good job.
I watched my mom, and I know that may be something, but my mom widowed very young. So I was 1.5. She had remarried, but one thing about my mom always worked really hard. She always made sure that we had everything that we needed, and I always remember, my grandma would come over after school, or she'd be watching us till my mom got home from work. And I think that's one of the things when you see that, and you have to overcome things that come your way that are absolutely unexpected.
So your mom worked mostly of the years you were growing up?
Yes, she worked all of the years I was growing up.
You gained strength from that in many ways?
Yeah, yes.
Oh.
And I think when I had to go back to work
after with a 15-month-old, but you're going to give him a shout out when he watches your show. She's got a 15-month-old
Mama hates
boy.
leaving you in the morning. I do. Oh my God, my little man. Yes, thank you for letting me shout out.
Absolutely,
to him.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
So the determination comes from your mom.
And I think too, when you watch things and you want to change your path, right, and you want to, I think, I was the first one out of my family to graduate college. I think that's a big, so I think it's just always trying to, I don't say better, just have a different path forward and really, continue that. And I hope to, that's what I'm going to do for my son as well. And I hope that he sees I had to work.
That community, is that one significant experience or achievement that happened in your life that you think changed your sense of business or even personal life?
I think so, and for sure. And it was when I had Gabriel, and he came early, and it was just how he came. But I think that changed my perspective overall. That I always thought you never know, and you don't think about, what the bad things can happen. Sometimes I think, skeptically, just, in things that I specialize in at work, or of course, right, because I'm in risk. But I think in life you don't always think about the unexpected. And one of the things that I learned is how precious life is, and how things could have been so different. And I value my home life and what I've been giving, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm also very grateful to be working for the agency that I work for, and their support. Both on a professional level and a personal level. And I think that it's the people that we surround ourselves with and get to work with and build those relationships with that really help us overcome those challenges.
Speak from that level of the support that your business has given you, like as an employee and so as a team member, you're part of your family. Tell us what that means to you to get that support. Because I don't know if a lot of businesses do that.
Yeah,
so it's great that you're bringing up. So give them a kudos for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
so one of the things is professionally, they are willing to develop you and coming in new. I came from almost 20 years of telecom and information technology. And so I didn't have, the knowledge in this, in the insurance industry and the risk industry. And the one thing that they are doing is, supporting me in my efforts to, continually educate myself. I have one designation. I'm working on another one right now. Yeah, and they're very supportive and things that we want to do outside of that, develop, women's networking, other giving back to our community. And also they stress the work-life balance, and if I have to leave because he has a doctor's appointment or, they're supportive of that. They know that you'll get what you need to get done when you need to get it done. And I think that's important for any organization, for their employees, is to really help people balance that, because it's not easy. Before I get to my desk in the morning, I'm already 3 hours in of I'm ready, he's ready, he's like dressed, fed, ready to go, and I'm the same way. And sometimes I'm like, I get there and I'm
you're exhausted.
Yes. And I'm like, is it time to go home? No.
Just started.
Yeah.
No, your energy is never time to go home. You just keep going. Really.
It's just the day just started right there.
Yeah.
But isn't it amazing when you bring children into the world of yourselves, like how it just shifts in every direction, which is a wonderful, wonderful, great shift. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
It certainly makes us feel like, hey, we are human beings,
Yes. Because, and it's funny because when I had him, and you're trying to manage it, and you come home with this, he gets out of the hospital, you have this list
spreadsheets and lists.
And you're trying to manage all these things. So I've always been a career woman. So here I am. I'm thinking like, let me make this project outline. No.
Yeah. I had a spreadsheet. I get it.
Yeah.
And everyone laughed at me, and they should have.
It's funny because then you think
spreadsheet for a
I was
child.
like, I'm going to track and chart everything. This is going to be very mechanically and lethargic and logical. And
by the way, it
not
only gets me in trouble at home because he'll eat when he wants to eat. He'll go to the bed. You can't control it all, right?
Oh, she had the pacifier till she was like 2.5. I was like, she won't have a pacifier. I was like, no, just take the pacifier. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, so we're working
humility
on that.
with children.
Oh, I was like, I have more
Yeah.
empathy for everyone and everything after.
And I tell all these my child development because I love child development. It's my passion. I just study it constantly. And I say, they don't go to kindergarten with a teddy bear, and they don't go to kindergarten with a bottle, and they don't go to kindergarten in a diaper. So trust me, you got 5 years to figure this out. So just take a deep breath and enjoy it.
Right, I
because
know.
they will come to you and say, no more bottle, no more.
Yes, yes. So he
know.
doesn't have that anymore, which
Yes.
that was very easy. And the bank is only at night, but sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm telling
it's
you, I'm like,
self-soothing.
but I don't do it. I
That's
don't
good.
give in.
You're stronger than I was.
He's like, Mom, give that to me. Right?
I know where it is. It's right up there in that cover.
Exactly.
You look into their eyes and it says it all.
It's different when it's your own than when it's someone else's child.
Yeah.
But once you own it, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
A very good friend's daughter just had her first child at 42 years old. And all the years I've known this young woman, she has been sworn off to having children. And the baby's probably 6 weeks old, 7 weeks old. And she said to her mom, I didn't even understand how you could have this much love. Yeah. She goes, how could I look at all these other people's babies and children all the years and go, what's that all about? And then she goes, you just hold it. It's like instant love. Yes. It's amazing. And she summed it up because she was the last woman I ever thought would ever have a child. And she's like enjoying every second of it.
I'll never forget the nurse who handed me him for the first time because I didn't get to hold him right away because of everything that we went through. And Michelle, and when she ever put him on me, like that, I cannot, ever. Yep. And I wouldn't change anything for the world. But it is challenging, you know.
They don't come with a recipe.
No, they don't have.
They come with personality.
And you love everything about him.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
It's funny.
Yeah.
And so she
love.
says something, I'm like, oh, she got that from me. I'm like, I'm like, oh, that's me.
Well, I'm watching it now, and I'm like, oh, I love the big smile
Yeah.
and the happiness. And then when we then I watch how quickly he could get maybe impatient with something, and I'm thinking, oh no, uh-oh.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
It must have been his dad.
Yeah.
Right, we have dads.
We have dad to
Oh,
add in there.
yeah,
I could
yeah,
just mix
no.
things up,
No, sometimes she says things, I'm like, oh, that's definitely, it's amazing. It's like mimicking me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh gosh.
Even with the face, the
Yeah.
nose, and the eyes, I'm like, oh my God, it's like a repeat. So how do you get to balance it all, Cindy? What do you do for yourself?
Ooh, so a couple of things. I do get to my yoga class at least once a week.
Wow, wonderful.
Yes.
Good for you.
So that's a good thing. I think that's a big commitment for myself
is.
that I need to take that. And I tell Dad, I'm like, listen, it's Sunday mornings. We don't, So I get out there, I do that. And I like to, go for a walk. I have him then, right?
Which is nice, right?
Yes, which is nice too, because he'll just, sometimes, he'll fall asleep. It's really nice,
What Mary said, the previous person on the show, was nature. Just when she said that, it just kind of
cleansing.
it's
It
calming.
is.
It's
It is
calming for him
calming.
too. Absolutely,
For sure. So it's good for all of us. We get that fresh air.
Yeah.
So sometimes I run home and depending how last time he had his snack, I pop him right in the carriage. Let's go.
Yeah.
Just go for a quick walk and everybody feels better, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I make wine.
That is cool.
Wow, Amy, she can be your best friend.
Yes,
I was thinking
I
of
should have
knitting, but
brought
I
it.
think
Yeah.
wine making might be much better for me.
A new
Yeah.
career, honey.
So,
I was trying to come up with a hobby. Knitting.
yes. Yeah.
Knitting?
No,
No,
I think the
no,
wine is much
I don't
better.
know. I think wine
Tell
bottles
us
are
about
well,
that.
not that I wouldn't love a warm scarf.
Yeah, I know, but you can decorate the bottle afterwards.
So, some of the bottles do have scarves. So,
Yeah.
so tell us about
Yeah. No.
Winemaking.
winemaking.
So, my uncle had been making it for 10 years. I would literally go to his house for family events, craving it. Is he going to pour that wine yet? And so he was moving, and he said he was going to give me his vat. So I decided to take on a new hobby, and
Wow.
we've been making it for the last 3 years.
That's
so,
impressive.
Yeah, it's
That is.
fun. I'm using the juice. I'm not crushing my own grapes.
Yeah.
I want to have an episode of I Love Lucy and get in there
Nice.
and stomp around for sure.
I'll come
Where
over
do you
and
get the
help.
juice from?
So you can get it. So 1 year I got it from Tortola. 1 year I got it from somewhere in Silver Lake.
Okay.
So yeah, local. Sorry, I can't give him a prop for the name of that store, but that's okay. You can find it. I can get that information to you as well. And so I did a Cabernet and Chianti my first year. Came out very well.
I'm very impressed.
Then I did another Cab the following year, and then I did a Cab and an Amarone. So it's very cherry coffee. So so that one's strong. My uncle had a sip. He was visiting a
Is he
couple
proud
of
of
weeks
you?
ago. Very proud.
Yeah, uncle.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Now
So
that's a great family tradition to pass down.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so wonderful.
taught me all about it. It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm continuing on. I have to bottle it up. I'm getting in trouble at home. Then I have all these, sanitized bottles I have to redo because they've been, I covered them, but they've
Yeah,
been sitting there
too
because
long.
it's the time. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah, no,
It does
no.
take a little time. So I do admit I have to get that done.
How many
So-
bottles do you make a year?
So they usually they come out 48. So if you can
48
get
bottles?
yeah. So you could, and it's very cheap. So you could save a lot of money on buying a $15, $20 bottle of wine.
And it's homemade. That's the best part.
Yes.
Really.
Yes, absolutely.
And you do it right in your house?
Right in the house, right in the basement. We have a very dry basement, good condition for it. So yeah.
And I'm curious, how long does it take from start to finish to
So
make
it
48
could,
bottles?
yeah, it could. You usually start the process in September, and you can start bottling up towards the end of the next summer. So about a year.
Oh,
so
yeah,
some
it
take a
does.
little longer, like the Amarone. I let
Yeah.
sit for about a year and a half. You could wait a little longer. You just want to make sure that you're tasting it so it doesn't go bad.
Well, Cindy, I'm probably the only person you ever talked to your entire life who's never had a glass of wine.
She had an
Ever?
allergy attack.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh well,
She-
then that
like, literally.
explains it. So we gotta make vodka.
But I am intrigued about everyone who is involved in wine. It's got its own little culture going on. It's amazing the energy, and I'm on Facebook and I see people, let's have a bottle of wine, just talk. It's really got a sense. It's really, I think, blown beer in many ways.
Yes.
I think wine is it, especially I find with a lot of women, which is great. You know?
It's come back though.
Yes, it has come back. These craft beers.
The craft beer,
but still
yeah.
good
And I
wine.
do like a little craft beer, and I'll just stick with my wine.
Yeah,
making.
that's what I hear from most of them. All my
Yes.
friends feel the same way. They like a little bit of wine. Yeah. So we have like a few minutes left. Of anything you want to bring to the show that we haven't asked?
I just think that as you move through your career as a woman, those relationships that you build, you know, they're there. They're lifetime relationships a lot of times, and I think it's just important to remember that, and you know, to ask for help when you need it, to be able to rely on other women. I think sometimes we take so much on our plate, and you know, we can, and I'm finding it even more now with, you know, being a mom too, but it's just, you know, kind of taking a step back, and I think always thinking, it's not what you think. I think we have a tendency to overthink, and that we really just need to, you know, just be, you know, be positive and not worry about anything unless we have something to worry about.
Yeah.
I think that's,
I mean, Woman in Business is a great way to network, as you know, but what are some of the ways you do network? Like,
yeah, so I belong to the Northern Rhode Island Chamber.
yeah, good old John Gregory, yeah,
yes, John.
Shout out for John.
yes.
Shout out for who's retiring. My goodness.
I know. It's
He's
crazy.
such a wonderful man.
Yeah, and AWE, are you familiar with AWE? AWE, I think that's, yeah, so that's a great, they're excelling, well, it was Women in Business, but obviously it's for advanced, you know,
Yes.
workplace excellence.
Yeah.
That's another great place. You know, then there's Rise. You know, that I know started last year. So just try to really get out there and work, and you know, just we all you know want each other to be successful, and I think it's really continuing on and meeting like you, like asking asking someone.
Do you know anyone?
I'd like to be introduced to you know someone, and it's a great
Relationships is
connection.
huge. That's like number one.
Yeah.
Relationships and communication.
I tell a lot of people you can hang out behind the computer, and I love the computer, so trust me, it's one of my favorite things. However, you gotta have the human connection.
Yeah.
Because no one has any idea until you go out there and meet with them and talk to them and have a conversation with them, and it certainly makes a difference. So I'm a huge component of networking, and even if you can go to maybe one or every other month to a networking event, you have to go every single week, but it really does help you to really connect with people. It truly does. And the Northern Rhode Island Chamber certainly does that. I've been a member since 1994, believe it or not. It's good. Love it.
That is awesome. Yeah. And so thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for being on Women's Business.
Thank you for
one
having
last
me.
shout out to Gabe.
Yeah, bye baby, bye little man.
Great show. Thank you.
Thank you.